Okay. All right, so the first few parts are just theory and concepts, which I hope you've looked through the notes for this. As soon as we get to here, it's pretty basic. As long as you remember that the first coordinate, these are called coordinate pairs or ordered pairs. And so is x comma y. Okay, so all you have to do is look at this as a grid. Start in the center, which is considered to be, right? The center is always 0, 0. It's my ugly zeros there. So 6, 7 would mean you start in the middle and move across the x-axis, right? Here's the x-axis. Move over to 6, which is right here after the 5. Go up 7, which would be here, right? 6, 7 right there. So this point would be here. So obviously it can't be A. This one has 6, 7, so it could be this one. Could be that one, and etc. So you just go and find out which of these options plotted all of these points correctly. So x first, then the y. Start in the center, count on the x, whatever it says, count on the y, whatever it says. But if it is negative, let's do this one. 8 comma -3. You'd go up to 8, which is 2 less than 10, so right there, and then go down 3. So downward is negative on the y, left is negative on the x. So this is in this section, everything is positive. This little quadrant, this corner, we call this quadrant 1. And we go counterclockwise. This over here is negative comma positive. So everything here on the x is negative, right? Everything down here is negative. Okay. This is quadrant 2. This is quadrant 3. Over here, x is positive, but we're below the y, or we're below the x-axis, so the y is negative. So this would be plus, minus, okay? Quadrant 4. So go down for negative, go to the left for negative. You start in the center. If they're both positive, well, then you're going to go to the right and up. If y is negative, then you're going to go down 3, but to the right 8, right? So that'll be this point. If they're both negative, obviously, you would go down 3. Or sorry, -3, -1. For this point here, you'd go to the left 3. 1, 2, 3, then down 1. So just remember which sides are positive and which sides are negative. The names of the quadrants may not be necessary for this class, but it's good to know. I'm sure you've seen it before, but in pre-cal it comes up a lot. But knowing where your plus and minus kind of helps if you don't remember how to graph a point. But I'm hoping you do. But if you don't, please let me know. Is there any questions on how to plot a point? Do you see that this is x and this is y? It's
no questions, sir.
Always going to be like that. Okay. Let's move on then. Over here, they're testing that same concept. And I know this might be basic to some of you, so just bear with me. We got to go over the review just in case somebody forgot. And that's okay if you did forget. Whatever we don't use, we forget. So we got to remember. If we go to the left 8 units, we said left direction is negative. If we go below, going down, that's going to be negative. So that's where they got the -8 and the -2. So if we were plotting -8, -2 up here, just because we already have one, right? You can use their graph. -8, -2, that means I would go to the left 8 and then down 2. So it'd be like right here somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. But yeah, most of these questions will be the first half, I guess, is testing. Do you remember how to plot a point? Do you know where the x-axis is and the y-axis is, right? If they tell you it's on the x, right, that means there is no y, right? If you're right on top of the x, then y is 0. That's what they're saying right here. The point is on the x-axis and 16 units to the right. So you would just be right on the center and you just move to the right 16. That's why this is 0. Okay. This is where the signs are important. So the signs that I wrote down earlier. All right, we said if you have actually, I think I could use these pretty lines. Where is it? Yeah, these are nicer. Nice. So plus plus, minus plus, minus minus, plus minus, right? That's what we set up top. So the x-axis. This is the y-axis. Now, x greater than 0, y less than 0. This is telling you that x is positive and y is negative. Where does this happen? Well, x is positive in this right half, right? Y is negative only down here. So you would say quadrant 4, because we said this is 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So number 8 and 9, that's all you're going to do. Is there any questions on figuring out where you're negative and what they're talking about when they say quadrants? Is there any questions on quadrants? All right, I'm assuming you guys are good. So stop me anytime if something doesn't make sense. 10, 11, 12, these are going to need formulas. The formula, as you saw earlier at the very top, if you read if you look at the theory and you look at the notes, right, the distance formula is comes from the Pythagorean theorem. So you're basically finding the hypotenuse. But just to keep it simple, in case you don't really care, right, distance is going to be the second x value minus the first x value plus the second y value minus first y value squared. So this right here will give you your distance between these 2 points. Okay. Now, the work you would have to show like on an exam is just plugging that in. There's nothing really to do here. So remember that x1, y1 is going to be these two, okay? x2, y2 is going to be these right here. So just plug it in. That's it. So x2 is the second one. So 5. 5 minus a -1, that it means +1, right? Minus, minus. y2 is a -3. Now, since we are squaring and then square rooting, you will never have a negative distance. Also, because negative distance makes no sense. So -3 minus 5 right there. So 5 plus 1 squared, that's going to be what, 36, right? That's 6 squared. -3 minus 5 is that -8 squared. 64, right? All right. Is that a pretty number? Looks like it.
I have a question. For this class, are we going to see trigonometry?
What's up?
Are we going to see trigonometry, the sin, the cos, and the tan for this class?
No, that's that would only be seen in pre-calculus. So after this class, you'd see all that.
Okay.
Okay, so that'll be 70, 100. So that'll be 10. So the distance between these 2 points are 10. Now, I'm going to switch over to the graphing just so you can see a little better. Can you see the new page I opened?
Just going with the graph?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, cool.
After this class is pre-calculus, yeah. Yes, yeah.
No, it's college algebra, this class.
But after this class.
So 1, -1, 5. 5. 5, -3. Although we use the same book for trigonometry and pre-cal. Okay. Let me zoom in right here. So these are the 2 points that we found the distance. So the shortest distance, of course, is a straight line here. So what they do, or what you're supposed to do, is picture a triangle. So this is a theory behind the scenes that some people don't really think about. So what you do is essentially find a hypotenuse. So the distance D, right? This is D right here that we found. That's the distance 10. When we subtracted the x2 minus x1, that was this side here, this length, which is going to be what, 4, I think, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. So when you subtract the y's and the x's, it's going to be these sides here. Then you square and add them and square root, and you get the distance equal to 10. That's the theory in the background, but the formula is what you need. So the formula comes from this idea. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, but as long as you have the formula, you can always find distance. You'll be good. It's always good to know where this came from or why we did that. So 11, 12, 13 is all the same deal. 13 will have some fractions, so that'll make you practice your fraction stuff, but essentially you're just subtracting.
I have a question.
Yes, what's up?
So if they give us, so let's say they give us C and A, we can still figure out the B, I guess, right? We like switch the B to the C side.
Yeah, if you have only one side, you could. Well, if you only have, let's say, you're missing the y values, but you have x and the distance, you could solve for y. Let's see here. But anyway, any questions on distance? Is that okay? Makes sense?
Yes.
Yeah, it makes sense.
All right, these last two is just a word problem using these distances. So you just draw the picture and you'll do the same thing pretty much.
A question I have is what do we put if it's not asking for decimals? It doesn't matter.
If it says exact, let's see, like for example, here it says it tells you to round, so you'll know exactly what to do. Over here, it wants exact numbers. So no round. If it doesn't mention rounding, assume exact.
Okay.
So here they didn't mention rounding either. Exact. But that's pretty much
Exact, even if it has decimals, yeah.
well, decimals are not exact, but they should mention it. If they don't and they're already in decimals, it's safe to assume the same level of significance.
Okay.
Like here they have one decimal point, right? So the answer should be about the same here. But distance, if they kept it in square root, I think this might, well, actually it doesn't say rounding. So you're gonna have to punch it. So when you're doing the calculation, the inside part, you would just keep the same amount of decimal points, but leave it as a square root. Unless they mention rounding. But it's a good question though. Okay, any other questions on P6? I think that's the last review section.
No, sir.
Okay, let's let me look at the next section really quick. Give me a second. Okay. The next section is about circles. So I'll write down all the formulas in a second, but the main one we're going to need here is the standard equation. So this is the standard form for a general circle centered somewhere at HK with some radius R. So we'll write this down in a second. They're going to begin first by testing to see, okay, can you figure out if a point is on the circle? And then they'll ask us to change this into standard form or find the standard equation given a center, given a radius. Find the equation given a center and a radius. So it's pretty straight up. I'll show you in a second how to do this. And then after those types of problems, they'll give us the edge points, so two opposite side points. To given that info, you're going to have to go work backwards to figure out, okay, what is the circle equation? So we'll have to figure out the center, because as you can see, if you have a center, you can figure out the equation. All you really need is a center and radius, and you'll be good. If you don't have either one of those, you'll have to solve for it. So you need a center, you need a radius, and then you just use the formula up above here. You plug in the H and K, but notice how they're opposite signs. So if H and K were 2 and 1, like -2, -1, you would write 2, 1. So opposite. So let's get started here. All right. So section 1.1. Graphs of equations. Circles. Can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So here is the standard form formula we're going to need. Let me write it down for you. So it would be x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equal to r squared. The center of a circle is going to be hk. Notice how it is the opposite of whatever's in here. Okay. The radius of a circle is going to be this r right here. So if you have this number, you may have to square root this. That would be radius. All right. Do you guys remember the diameter of a circle formula?
Or the area or perimeter. No.
For the diameter, yeah, going around or
Is it
going
if you
across.
times the radius?
Yeah. What is the circumference?
Was that C equals pi r squared? Or am I thinking of another one?
Pi r squared is area.
Oh, okay.
Similar though. It is very similar, so they're easily just confused.
C equals 2 pi r.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I had those two confused.
Yeah, 2 pi r. Yeah, for a second I was confusing these two. That wait a minute, there's no pi here. It's just double the radius. But yeah, that happens. And you said the area of a circle. Might as well just have everything here now, right? 2 pi r squared. Oops, no. No 2. Okay. Believe we got all. We got diameter, we got circumference, we got area. Okay, we may need them, we may not. It's okay. The main ones are going to be probably this first few.
I have another question.
Yes.
Are you gonna see the volume of the figures?
I don't think so. Let me see. Not in this section for sure, but as far as in the future, no, there should be no volume here. No. 90% sure there will not be any volume. I don't know if there's a strange word problem in there that I forgot about, but pretty sure there is. Okay, let's get to the questions. If you watch the notes or the videos, you should have all these anyway. Then you should understand them. Okay, number 8. Write the equation of a circle in standard form. Okay, well, write down example 1, problem 8. So I'm going to shorten this up a little bit. Given a center and radius, find the equation of the circle in standard form. That's basically what they are asking. They gave us a center of 0, 0. Gave us a
I'm not
radius. What's that?
That kind of like a vertex or no? Because they use like H and K or no.
Kinda, yeah. It's similar notation. Yeah. It should be familiar. Okay. So this right here is basically the H and K. This is the R, obviously. Okay. So just plug it in and you're good. Equation of a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equal to r squared. So this will be x minus 0 plus y minus 0 equal to 2 squared. So that's it. Nothing crazy, right? Any questions on example 1? You see that we're just using the formula up above, right? The standard form, basically.
So is there going to be any case when they give us the X and the Y or no?
What's that?
Is there going to be any case when we need to use the X and the Y or no?
You mean instead of the center? Sorry, I can't hear you very well.
Yeah, instead or both.
Yeah, they will, on the other questions, they'll give you different things. We'll do one in a second that doesn't have a center. Let's do number 11. Check this one out. Actually, let's do yeah, let's do 10 first. Because 10 number 1 or number problem A was a little too easy, I think. So this is the same instructions, so I'm not going to write it again. Center is 2, -7. Radius is square root 11.
Sir, I think you're going a little bit too far down.
Yeah, let me switch back.
Yeah, we can see it better.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just write in the question really quick. All right, now we're ready, right? So this is my H and K. So remember, in the formula, there's a built-in negative, right? So see how the signs switch. So be careful with your signs. Minus minus will become plus. And square root squared, of course, is not squared, not square rooted anymore.
So they cancel each other out.
Yeah, these will cancel. Any questions on the first 2 examples? Is that okay? Is that weird?
I guess we have to, I don't know if we would be the difference, well, for the first one, difference of squares.
I can't hear you. I don't know if your mic's too far or something.
Also, like, what do we do? Like, do we leave it like that?
Okay, one more time. I raised my
I think-
volume.
Do we
Oh, yeah.
leave it like that? Or?
Yeah, I think he wants to know if we simplify,
Oh,
or if we just leave it like that.
yeah, there's nothing else to do. This is the standard form that they want. This is the standard form of a circle. If you went any further, it would no longer be standard form. You could multiply this out. You're right, technically, but that's not the purpose they want. Okay.
But isn't standard form like going like from pi to
Sta-
like,
This is
like the terms x to the 3, then x to the 2, x to the 1.
those are the parent functions
Okay.
or the family of functions. The standard form for a circle is this one here. Although there's standard form for a parabola, there's a standard form for something other stuff, but this is the one for the circle. So right now we're just doing the circles. But yeah, but you're right. There is other ones. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You guys cool on this page?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's do 11. Actually, 12 looks harder. Let's do 12. Now check this out right here. They did not give me the radius. Right. So now I'm gonna have to figure out the radius. I have the center. That's good. But I have a rando point. So basically, I have H, right?
Is it just me that can't see him sharing his computer screen?
I can see it.
You
Yeah, I
can't
think
see?
it's just you. No, we can see it. I think it's just her.
Is this better? Or is it the same?
Well, I can see when you write on your paper, but I can't see your computer screen, like when you show your computer screen.
Oh, how weird.
Are
Yeah.
you on a laptop or a desktop?
My iPad. And it was showing just fine before, and now it's not. But it's okay. As long as I can see you writing, I'll be good.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I think it kicked me out right now. I think it's like the Wi-Fi issue or something, because suddenly I was seeing you, Mr. Gonzalez, and then it kind of slowed, your voice started slowing,
Mhm.
and then it showed that you had like one bar on your where it had your name, it showed like one bar out of 3. So I think you had low connection.
Strange. Yeah, I don't know. I guess let me know if it happens again. Although I think I have gigabit internet right now, so I should not be slow.
I have a question.
Yes.
So you said that we at least need the radius or the center to do these kind of operations, I guess.
Right.
So
So-
like if they just give us 2 points, we cannot figure this out.
If you have 2 points on opposite side of the circle, you can figure it out. But if you would need 2 points on the circle to solve for H and K and radius, but if they're not on opposite sides, then there'd be a problem. That might not be enough information. Like if it's just 2 random points on the circle, I don't see, let me think. There would be 3 unknowns. You would have unknown for H, unknown for K, unknown for radius, and you would only have 2 points. So you could create a system of equations, but you would not have enough equations to figure out all 3. So you have to be on opposite sides, or you need to have a center, or you need to have a radius, or both. If you don't have one of those, if you don't have either of those scenarios, you will not be able to find the equation of a circle. But all the questions will be one of those scenarios, so don't worry about it. Okay, example 3. All right, so they're giving me a center, so same instructions. Find equation of a circle. Also in the recording, you should see the background that I was sharing either way. In standard form. All right. All right, center 2,9. And they gave us a, actually, let's do this one. Negative, negative solution point. So remember at the beginning, they were testing your conceptual knowledge. They asked if something was a solution. Do you remember that at the beginning? If you look at the notes, that should be familiar. This is a very basic
Solution.
question. What does
The
it mean?
solution mean?
Go ahead, Brian.
The solution, the answer, or
Yeah, what does it mean to be a solution of an equation? Right, it's a very basic question, right? But do we really ever think about it?
So is it just saying that we have to come up with the equation?
I mean, that's what we're gonna do, yes, but what does this mean though? What were we given?
that the answer, or
Yeah, what does it mean to be an answer or a solution to this equation? Like in any equation, honestly. Like a line, parabola, all those types of equations. What does it mean to have a solution? A unique, specific solution.
You have a area to plot it.
Yeah, that is true. Graphically, this point will be on the graph itself. So visually, that is true. So a solution is technically a point on the graph. So that's one thing. That's one part of it. The other part is if it is a solution and you plug it in, then you will receive a true statement. You will receive equality if you plug in a solution. Okay. So that means that it's on the circle and we can plug it in and not have any problems in this equation. Oops. Okay. So I have a point that I can technically plug in because it is a solution. I have a center, which means I can plug that in too. So I could plug all these things in and then solve for R because I know this is on the circle. Since it is a solution, that means I can use that to my advantage here. I just plug it in. Plug in the 1 for your X. So this is my X and Y. Plug in your -2 there.
so like what does the H and the K mean, like the center, or
Yeah, this is the center. They have to give
Yeah.
us the center. 13. -9. Okay, I plug everything in at once. No, I hope that's not too messy. You see, this is my X and Y, right? This is my H and K. A lot of minuses because this formula has built-in minuses, and then these are both negative, so it looks a little weird. Let's simplify a little bit. Minus minus is 1 plus 2. Minus minus is +9. It's a little better, right? So at this point, just solve for R. And we'll have the radius, which means we have the radius and center. So we can find the equation at that point. So 3 squared plus -13 plus 9, that's going to be negative what?
4.
-4.
-4.
Yeah, 4, right? Okay. So 9 plus 16 is equal to R. 9 plus 16 would be,
25. Yeah.
all right, just always double check me because I don't like numbers anymore. 25 square root R would be equal to 5, right? So I got my radius. So now I can answer the question. Center at x minus a -2. Oops. X minus a -2 plus y minus a -9 equal to the radius squared. So the answer will be x plus 4 plus y plus 9 equal to 25. So this would be the circle equation that has a point here, has this, and has this center. Has this as a solution. So now if you were to plug this in, now that we have the equation here, you would get equality, which shows and proves that it is a solution. Any questions on any of the steps here? The beginning, middle, I don't care.
Oh, for the exam, do you want us to like check it like the last step you did or no?
You mean the plug in the point?
Yeah.
No, you don't have to, but if you do and it works, then you know for sure that you're right.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions on example 3?
So this isn't going to ask us to graph it in the homework, right? We're just solving.
Actually, there is a graphing. Let's look at it. Although graphing circles is not hard, right? If you have the center, well, it's pretty much all of it, right? Like check this out. If I have a center right here, let's pretend we already solved it. Although you can see it yourself, right? Center is the opposite. So if it's -1, you put a 1. If it's 3, put -3. Just swap them. So then you first plot this point when you're doing this grapher, you plot the center, and then you can use a radius, right? Square root of 49 is 7. So go out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It'd be 7 in every single direction, right? Like this, up and down at least. That makes sense. So all you need is a center and the radius and you'll be good. Although if you have a center and a random point, you could graph that. Let me see. Because you would technically know the radius. Yeah, I just realized another way you could do this over here. What you could do is find the distance between these 2 points, and that would be your radius. So you could do that if you wanted to. Because the center to any point on the circle, the distance between any point on the edge and the center would be the radius. So that's another way if you wanted to do that. But anyway, yeah, you can graph this guy here. It's using that idea. The circle technically has symmetry everywhere, right? If you fold it halfway, downward, diagonal, it's going to be symmetrical. As long as it's going through the middle, it'd be good. I don't think it asked for anything else. I thought it was going to ask for something called completing the square, but I don't see it. Guess you guys got lucky on that one. Okay. Anyway, any questions on 1.1? That's pretty much it. Nothing else. Like, can you, if you're given a center and a radius, can you find the standard form equation? Or if you're given a center and a point, can you find the equation? Can you find the radius, etc.? Can you graph a circle given the equation or other information? All right, guys. Well, that's it for today. Do you have any homework problems that you're struggling with or you think are ridiculous? Sometimes I miss a hard question that I should have deleted.
So what's the highest level of math that you've taken?
Yeah. Well, after a while, you end up going into different disciplines. So once you pass your master's and you get to PhD stuff, you end up focusing on one topic. But every mathematician needs to be able to do proofs. And because that's all you do in graduate school, you have to do proofs. So all the formulas in the book, all those need to be proven. Also, I think we proved some of Einstein's equations and we showed why they are true, why they're equal using mathematics and logic. So every mathematician needs to be able to use logic, be able to prove things and understand and basically think, also sets.
So I guess like cause I remember when one high school I was, they had like wasn't like a math class, it was like a logic thing. So I don't know if I guess you see it after your master's or.
Yeah, that class is, so that idea, that logic class is what you need in order to prove theorems. And so you go deep into logic. And also, like, if you were to read like a legal document or a contract, that's all based on logic. So the statement needs to be true. So if you study logic, you should be able to read a statement and understand whether or not that's true or false, or what's a fallacy. I guess also when people talk and they use certain statements, depending on what statement they use, they might automatically be false logically, or they'll be incorrect. Although using logic in everyday conversation can be very annoying to people. So I don't try not to do that, especially with like your significant other. Try not to logic too much.
I have a question about the homework.
Yep.
Yeah, I accidentally submitted my form. And can you go back over about resetting it? What is that?
That's you. You should be able to submit each question individually. What happened? You submitted the entire thing, or is that what you're saying? Or
Yeah, and then I reset it and it went back. So I don't know what the grade is.
okay.
Yeah. I was gonna agree with him because I think when I do my homework, it doesn't let us submit each one individually. We have to like do all of it first and then submit it as a whole.
Really? Let me look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
the
same
same
here.
thing.
There might be a setting. But it saves as you go, right? You can come back
Yes.
later.
Yes.
Because otherwise that would be very frustrating.
Yeah, I think the first assignment, like those intro ones, those ones let us submit each one individually. But then after that, I think on like once we got to the actual homeworks, it wouldn't let us do that.
Like P2 was you could or could not?
Could not. So like after
Yeah.
the intro assignments, it stopped letting us do that.
Okay, so let's test it out and see what's going on.
Yeah, like whenever I did it, like I had to submit it as a whole, and then like I got a bad grade, so I did it again, and I had to like redo the whole thing because I messed up like 4 or 5 questions.
So like these, for example, there was no way to submit. Like, let's say I just picked whatever. Who cares? Let me see. Yeah, you're right. I don't see a submit button. If I go submit that first one, that submits everything, right?
I also think that with the way that it is now, let's say if you pass one of the questions, once you're like have to redo everything. If you already passed one beforehand, but you got it wrong on the second time, it counts the first one.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's what it does for us.
So it is saving your progress in a weird roundabout way. It's just not very it's kind of annoying. Okay. Yeah, let me see if I can change that for you because that's weird. It hasn't been that way in the past. Give me a sec.
Also, I had another question. During the test time, will we be like, do we have to remember all the formulas?
No, you're allowed.
Or-
Yeah, I don't believe in memorization. So you have a page front and back of just formulas, nothing else. Definition, formulas, no examples, nothing written out, just that.
Speaking of the formulas, did you
Mhm.
already email those formulas out?
I think I threw one in the remind group chat. Yeah, last time. Did you guys get it or no?
Oh,
I can throw it in here too if you want.
Yeah, I got that
Why-
through
Could you please?
Remind.
Oh,
Yeah, if you log on through remind to on your laptop, you can just download it. But I can send it through here too, just in case. Here, one moment. Algebra. I think this is like all the basics that you're gonna need, like the exponents, powers, stuff. Common factorizations that we did, like differences squares is in there. Squaring a binomial, all that stuff. Okay. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was gonna check the settings. Give me a second. See what the hell's happening with that homework. Symbolic formatting.
Is the test going to be done online or are we going to have to like write it out or print it out?
It's gonna be on via responders. So you're gonna have to here, let me show you. So did you install responders like we talked about on the first day?
Yeah,
And did you get it working?
I haven't tested it out yet, but I did open it up and it does open and all that kind of stuff. I just have to test it out with the test review one.
So what I'm gonna do, it's gonna be, I'm gonna combine the first two units into one exam. So sometime in October, you're gonna have a test one. October 17th is when it's due. You can start that anytime between now and the 17th. So 17th will be the last day to do this. So this will be respondus. It'll be a webcam. It'll just watch you do your exam. And if you switch with another dude or something, it'll tell me stuff like that. But basically, you write out all your problems as neat as you can, step by step, and then upload it down here. I'm only going to grade the uploaded work. I don't really care what options you choose over here. I just want to see what was your work. Now, if it's a graphing question, yeah, there's not much to do there, but you know.
So we're able to do these tests on our own time or is it all together on Zoom class?
You do the test anytime during your own time. Whatever day works best for you. Just make sure it's done before the 17th at midnight.
Okay.
But we haven't gotten there yet, so there's still a lot of topics to go to. So once we're in chapter 4 or 3, you should start thinking about test 1 is coming.
And what is the time limit on that?
I haven't
test 1?
chosen one yet. Let me see. I think right now it's 150 minutes.
And how many questions?
Let me see. Give me a second. Gotta open it up. I don't remember offhand. Give me a minute. It's 15 questions, 150 minutes.
Okay, so 15. And it's gonna just be like three of each topic we covered, or like 2 of each topic.
What do you mean?
So it'll be like 2 graphing, or like 2 radius, or 2
I mean,
polynomials.
I mean, it'll be everything we've talked about up until chapter 4.2. Everything up to 4.2. I don't know, like which.
Okay, so each chapter is 2 points, or each chapter's 2 sections. So chapter 1 is section 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 is unit 2.
No. 1 second. Let me double check. You want to know what's inside unit 1? Is that your question?
You said it's going to be over points, or chapter 4, all the way up to chapter 4.
Yeah, unit
then
1 and
you said-
unit 2 would be everything up until 4.2.
Okay, so like unit 1 would be chapter 1 and 2, and then unit 2 would be chapter 3 through 4.
I believe so. Let me double check. If you look up the syllabus, it'll tell you right here. Unit 1 would be, I guess P2 all the way through 1.5. Let me share the screen so you can see. So if you look at the syllabus, we're right here. We just finished 1.1. Unit 1 is P2 through 1.5. Next week we'll do 1.4, 1.5, and keep going. We're not going to do unit 1 tests. I'm going to combine that again. Like I said, unit 1 and unit 2 will be 1 test. Otherwise, you're going to have 7 tests, and I think that's too much.
Okay.
So I'm going to fuse them together to make it a little more chill. 2.2 all the way to 4.2 is unit 2. Okay, and it's right there. You can see it. And then we'll figure it out as we go. But does that make sense? Does that answer your question? Or?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. And I'll try to figure out how the hell why these questions are being stupid. There should be a way. I guess for now, what you could do is just submit every single time you finish one. But I think that's annoying. But I'll figure it out as soon as I can. I can't seem to find anything right now. All the settings. Damn it. Maybe in assignments. You guys have any other questions on the homework or anything you're struggling with?
I have a question about the 2 classes. Maybe I can share my screen
Okay.
to show you.
Oh, I think, are you talking about the lab?
No.
Go ahead and share.
Okay. Phone is disabled.
Is it letting you or no?
It says the host disabled participant screen sharing.
All right, try it again.
Okay, so it's here. My question is like, let me see where it is. So like, you told me that pre-calculus has trigonometry. Is it the same as playing trigonometry here, the class? Or like if I take this class, will I get a better grasp? Or...
Well, no. Pre 2412 pre-calculus, that one's gonna be you know, traditional trigonometry. Plane trigonometry is, I think, more like geometry kind of stuff. But that's more focused. Although I don't think, what is your major? I don't know if you need this 13, 16.
Computer science.
What is it?
Computer science.
Computer science? No, then yeah, you would do 14, 14 and then 24, 12. That would be the path you're supposed to take.
Okay.
And then Cal 1 and Cal 2, I think, right?
Yeah.
What would I need to go through? My major is engineering.
Same route. You might need more calculus for
I
sure.
saw some
Cal 1, Cal 2.
engineers here. I don't know if you would take this one's engineering graphics.
Okay.
Yeah, you would need this class, pre-calculus, Cal 1, Cal 2. And then at that point, after Cal 1, they'll let you take physics 1, engineering physics 1 and 2. And then some, depending on what type of engineering you may need or what school you go to, they may require Cal 3.
Okay.
And then of course you will for sure need differential equations, or you'll take the engineering version, which is engineering analysis. Which is basically like applied Cal 2. So that's pretty cool.
So we can go use that.
No, that's all there is for today. If you want to work on some homework, or if you want to head out, you can. I won't make you stay today, but another day I might make you stay for to do homework problems. But right now we're pretty ahead, so if you want to go work on homework on your own, feel free. If you want to stay here and do problems, you can.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
See you later.